Hello, what is up YouTube? Clifford Bakes here, showing you some new PC parts. Why am I doing that? Simple, I'm upgrading my computer with some reasonable upgrades. So over here, I have my new fans I'm going to put in my computer. These are the Be Quiet Lightwings LX high speed. The reason why I got this because there's no price difference between high speed and regular speed, so I said F it, might as well get the high speed. So I have a 3-pack here and a single over here because I'm going to put in 4 140 millimeter RGB fans in my computer to replace the fans that's gone bad. If you don't know, the fans in my computer went bad a while ago and they're now making a horrible clicking noise that's been getting on my nerve. You probably hear it if you watch my stream. Also, I love this attention to detail with Be Quiet here, right? So on the fronts, right, you see the fans, right? It looks nice and whatnot. Look at the back of the box here. They put the back of a fan. They didn't have to do that, but I like the fact that they did because that's quirky and I like that attention to detail. Next up, I'm going to ignore that and we're going to focus on this. So this is the new RAM going in my system. I'm going with 32 gigs of RAM. This is DDR4 because my computer runs AM4 Plus platform, so it only supports DDR4. 2x16 gigabyte kit. 3600 because that's the maximum that the Ryzen 5000 series can do. The reason why I'm doing 32 is because 64 would have cost twice as much. This was like 50 bucks. Oh, this was also I think it's 50 bucks because it's like, no, this was 60 bucks because it's 40 for a 3-pack and 19 for the single fan. I know some of you are going like, the fuck's wrong with you? Shush. It was my choice. But this was like 55 bucks, and if I wanted like 64 gigs, it was like 100 or something. I was like, nah, screw that. I don't need 64 gigs. Now, also, even though my motherboard supports 4 sticks of RAM, I'm not doing that again. So I tried having 4x8. Instability issues up the wazoo. Used 2 sticks, worked just fine. And so I've been using 2 sticks ever since, but I'm upgrading to 32 gigs because it seems like more games, especially open world games, just requires more RAM. And not just system RAM, but also VRAM. So this is the RX 7000 XT. This is from ASRock. This is the Challenger. I have used these graphics cards before. They work just fine, so I'm okay with it. So I went AMD for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted high RAM, and AMD just gives you more VRAM for a lower price compared to NVIDIA. Two, I'm kind of pissed off at NVIDIA, so my computer right now currently runs in RTX 3070 with only 8 gigs of RAM because NVIDIA basically said, fuck you, we're only going to give you 8 gigs. And that's not good enough anymore. Let's be realistic. If you're still hoping to play like AAA games, their newest games, open world games, yeah, indie games may use less VRAM, but new games, they are devouring that thing like it grows on trees because they're built with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and mine. Those both have 16 gigabytes of VRAM. I think with the Xbox, it's 10 gigs dedicated VRAM and then 6 gigs share with system memory. And for the PS5, it's 12 gigs dedicated with 4 gigs share with system memory. The point being, they expect a lot of VRAM. So this has a lot of VRAM. It performs nicely. Also, a couple things. A lot of you probably going like, but ray tracing. Ray tracing doesn't matter. Ray tracing sucks ass. Ray tracing is the digital equivalence of stopping and smelling the roses. You turn it on, it destroys your frames, and you barely notice it unless you stop and look for it. And then you have to turn on things like DLSS or FSR just to get more frames back, or frame gen. And the problem with DLSS and FSR, I'm looking at you too, and XeSS from Intel, is that whenever I see these in games, it always means the game is unoptimized. That's always the case. Because it's always the case where you have that feature in a game, it runs like hot ass. So it's like, yeah. Now I've been using like FSR, I find it runs a little bit better than DLSS, but DLSS tend to give you a better image quality. It's a weird situation, but I find FSR is a little bit smoother than DLSS, but DLSS gives you more frames. I think it's just too much between min and max frames. But yeah, it's a weird one. But yeah, so these are the reasonable upgrades I'm going to be putting in my system. And now I'm going to show you how you prep a system before you do an upgrade like this. Alright folks, moving on to the second part here. Here's how you prep a system before you change out the graphics card. So whenever you're doing a graphics card, what you want to do is go ahead and look for DDU, or Display Driver Uninstaller. I got this from griddles3d.com. The reason why you want this, because you definitely 100% want to uninstall your graphics drivers before you install a new card, especially if you're switching from AMD to NVIDIA. Now, if you're doing a NVIDIA to NVIDIA upgrade, sometimes you can get away with it. Same thing with AMD. Or if you're doing AMD to AMD graphics card upgrade, you can get away with it. I've done that on AMD in the past, works plenty of times. But sometimes, I mean, when you're switching from AMD to NVIDIA, you definitely want to go ahead, uninstall the old graphics drivers before you do the switch. So what you want to do is you want to make sure your computer is booted into safe mode. So the easiest way to get into safe mode, by the way, hold Shift and click Restart Your Computer. It's going to give you some options. You want to click on Troubleshoot, and then you want to click on Startup Settings, and then choose option number 4 for safe mode. And that's going to give you safe mode without networking or command prompt. So that means no access to the command prompt. You don't need it for this. And no access to the network or internet. Some might see that as a downside, but I like to uninstall the drivers, turn off the computer, install the new graphics card, and then when the computer starts up, then I'll go and install the drivers. Now, in the past, you used to like install your drivers while in safe mode as well to be safe, but nowadays, on both AMD and NVIDIA, it's pretty much solid about like they'll get rid of Windows basic drivers and uninstall the real drivers. So you don't need to do that anymore in safe mode. But yeah, so in safe mode, I'm going to uninstall the graphics drivers. I'm also going to uninstall any software that come with your GPU. So different GPU vendors might have different software that come with them. I have an EVGA card. I have EVGA Precision X. That's going to have to be uninstalled as well so it doesn't interfere with my ASRock card. So yeah, I'll see you after I swap out all the parts. Okay, one last thing. When you go ahead and you launch Display Driver Uninstaller, it's going to give you a window, just hit OK on it. So you just go here first, you tell it what do you want to uninstall. I told it GPU, it automatically knew I had NVIDIA GPU. And since I'm about to install a new graphics card, I want to do this clean and shut down. So that's going to go ahead, get rid of those drivers for me, all of them, and then shut down the computer once it's done. Alright. Okay peeps, so while my computer is uninstalling drivers, just doing a after unboxing show and tell. So for the fans, the Be Quiet Lightwings LX, as you can see, they're going with a translucent white fan where the hub is lit up and it spreads out to the outer edge. I kind of wish they did that, but they also had a ring around it as well, just for more saturation of the RGB. But hey, I get it. This is cheap, effective, it works. As for the wiring, so basically the wiring, unfortunately, it's not daisy chain. So the RGB can be daisy chain. That's what this is about here. So this is a connector that plugs into either another RGB fan to continue it. Yeah, that's the only purpose of this. Or an extension of whatnot. This is the part that you actually plug into your motherboard or controller. And this is digital RGB. That's why it has 5 pins. I mean, not 5 pins. It's at 3 pins, and this is 5 volts. Not that you can choose with analog RGB, which is 12 volts and has 4 pins. Don't confuse those. That will break shit. And then you have a regular 4-pin PWM fan, meaning that if my camera would zoom the F in, thank you phone. That means the motherboard can control the rotation of the fan speed with more granularity. That's all. Compared to the 3-pin design, which is this voltage regulation. And yeah, it doesn't matter if you get the 3-pack or the single pack, they're all the same. Now I kind of wish that, like, with the 3-pack, they gave you a splitter Because most of the time when you buy a fan and you buy a 3-pack, there's normally a splitter just in case your motherboard doesn't have the connectors for it. But straight up no splitters. You get the screws to screw in your fans, which is kind of pointless. Your case often comes with these, but sometimes they might not have enough, so I guess there's some point to this. But yeah, no splitter. That's just how they come. Also, no stickers. Like, remember when PC brands used to give you a sticker for, hey, thank you for buying our shears, here's a sticker. Same thing with the Corsair RAM. You just get the RAM sticks, that's it. No stickers anymore, unfortunately. Even though I do have a Corsair sticker on my computer, because my original Corsair RAM came with stickers. And then there's the graphics card. So all graphics cards comes in an anti-static wrist bag, assuming you're buying them consumer grade, and not holy fucking hell, why the hell does that weigh with the fourth of a thousand, son? I'm not joking, this thing is heavy. If you're hoping for anything else in here, there's nothing else in here. Unfortunately, the days are gone where you got extra goodies. Oh, quick install guide. I mean, if you need one of these, maybe you shouldn't be upgrading your own graphics card. Just saying. But yeah. Seriously, what happened to the days where they used to give you accessories, you know? They used to be like converters if you need to convert something. Now you don't even get that. So let's go ahead, take a closer look at the graphics card here. Hello, welcome to darkness. Alright, the magic of video editing, you're not gonna notice anything there. So I just gone ahead and threw away the thingamabobber, the anti-static bag, and this is what the graphics card looks like. It's heavy as all fucking hell, gosh damn. But as you can see, it's like this black. The camera's making it look gray, it's actually black in real life. Not sure why my phone is doing that. You got copper heat sinks. You have a regular tried and true 8-pin layout. It does take two 8-pins, so keep that in mind for your graphics card requirement. I think AMD recommends 750 watt power supply. I do know recommendation and reality are two separate things. So while you can go with manufacturer recommend, you often can go with much less and still be fine. Manufacturers like AMD and NVIDIA often puts overhead in for your CPU and what's it. So here's the back. I'm going to cover that. Now, do know this is just a PCIe E cover. Please take that off before you install your graphics card. It won't boot. It won't even fit in the slot. Now, it does have pass-through. Actually, no pass-through. So as you can see, the graphics card is the same length. Because one thing you can get, which I find annoying, is those 3-slot cards, which is just this big-ass thing hanging off the end that you don't need. It does nothing. LED on-off switch. I mean, I don't know why you put it that big, but that's great. I can just turn that off because this is not RGB. I think it's just LED indicator lights to tell you, hey, your graphics card is on and it's doing stuff and it's receiving power. But if I don't need that, I will gladly not use that. Also, since ASRock is a sub-brand of ASUS, why can't... I think you need, like, what's it called? Polychromatic, I think it's called, for the ASRock to control their RGB. Even though it should be controllable in ASUS software because same company. ASRock is just ASUS Rocks, if you didn't know. Now you know. But yeah, as for ports, so as you can see, dual fan design. But as for ports, this is DisplayPort, 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 HDMI. Remember when graphics cards used to have ports? You know, you used to get like 2 HDMIs and maybe a DVI D port and DisplayPort. Now it's just like, here you go, here's a bunch of display ports, one HDMI because we pay for the license to use HDMI. And here's DisplayPort. You can convert it to whatever you like. That's on your end. I swear. They don't love us anymore as much as they used to back in the day. Alright folks, next time you'll see me, all these parts will be in my computer. See ya. Alright folks, before I go ahead and rip out these parts here, just showing you what's being replaced. So like I said, this EVGA RTX 3070 taken out. Now I'm not sure to sell it or keep it. The thing is, EVGA kind of just doesn't even exist as a company anymore. They stopped making power supplies, they stopped making motherboards, they stopped making graphics cards, which is strange since their name literally means extreme video graphic adapter. So it's like, you know, they're just E at this point. I don't know. I'm thinking about keeping it. Maybe it'll become a collector's item in the future, and if I really am strapped for cash, I just go ahead and sell it. Or maybe just sell it as is. I don't know. What is the situation with EVGA graphics card? Are they worth it now that like you can't get them anymore? Or is this like keep it in a few years, this might become a collectible or some shit? But also, yeah, so the problem is these fans here. So these are the Fantex, I forget the damn name of them. SL25, I think they are. Yeah, SL25. So the RGB fans from Fantex. Now I do actually like these. They're like super quiet, super bright. They have extremely good airflow. They're just really good for the money. The only problem is Fantex doesn't even sell them anymore, and these all have bad bearings. So the thing is, when you have fans and you put them in this configuration where the bearing is upwards, what that does is that makes it so the bearing housing is facing upwards. That makes it so the fan is always pointing down, and gravity eventually pulls the fan out of the housing, and that just makes it get loud, because basically when it's spinning, it's going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and making lots of noise, even when it's not touching anything. It sounds like it's grating against something, but you go and check it, it's grating against nothing. So these have gone bad. And I previously had like 40s in my computer, but 2 of them went bad, like real bad, because I've been running them into lower fans for like 2 years. I got them. How long ago did I get them? Yeah, I got them. No, more than 2 years. 2021 is when I got them. So yeah, I say getting 3 effing years out of fans. Good job, good job. But yeah, no, these are donezo. Now I do have these 180 millimeter Fantex fans on the front, because the thing is, this case is the Fractal Design Torrent, and these are Fractal fans, not Fantex. Sorry. And now the problem with these 180s is that they move a lot of air, but they have no air pressure. So the thing is, when the air is coming through, right, it's a lot of it. It's a huge volume of it, but it doesn't want to go through stuff. It kind of wants to go around stuff when it pushes the air through. And that's not really helping out with my CPU here, because my CPU is running a tad bit hot. And yes, this is a Noctua cooler here, cooling down a 5900X. Yeah, R9 5900X. And while it was running much colder when I had like the 140s on the front, but when they went bad, I replaced them with the 180s. My system is running like, it's idling 7 degrees higher, and is at load is 10 degrees higher. So it's like, yeah, I'm taking these out, putting in the 140s, because the 140s, when a fan is small, it has more pressure. So it's not moving as much air, but it's moving that air with more force. So that pressure makes it so like when it goes through, it's pushing its way through something rather than pushing itself around something with the air. So that's just better for cooling this type of situation, especially when you have this much distance between fans. You kind of want more pressure to get across that distance. So that's why I'm swapping out these 180s for 140s, giving up lots of airflow for more pressurized airflow that's going to cool down my components a bit better. Because my GPU is not running that hot, because it has basically these 2 fans blowing air directly above into it. This one blowing a large volume of air across the whole entire assembly. So it stays in relatively good temperatures. Idles at 33-ish. At load, it's at 65-ish. But my CPU idles at 41-ish. And at loads, it's around 78-ish. And I'm talking about degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit. That's why I'm replacing those components. You know, like I said, I could have 4 sticks of RAM, but instability. Just lots of instability. So that's why I'm just replacing these sticks with just 32 gigs. I mean, 2 16 gig sticks. Because the computer will run with 32 gigs of RAM, but it just doesn't like when it's 4 sticks. It won't do it with XMP or Expo. So it will run them at like 32 gigs at 2333 with 4 sticks. But it's like I want the 3600 because there is performance gains with that when it comes to Ryzen. And that's why I'm replacing the sticks here. So the sticks are good. I'm not sure what the hell I'm gonna do with the sticks. They're just gonna exist, I guess. I'll probably sell them on Java, to be honest. I got too much computer hardware that's kind of collecting dust, so I'm probably just gonna sell that as used on Java. As for the motherboard, it's an Asus. Regrettably, it's an Asus B550 M Wi-Fi Plus in parentheses for some reason. I got this because I need a new motherboard anyway. I was upgrading my system, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be missing out too many features with, like, you know, graphics card and RAM and whatnot, as well as resizable bar support and whatnot. So I upgraded to Asus because I was like, yeah, Asus is kind of the best in the game right now. It's gonna be the best. Yeah, as you can see, it's tough gaming. Oh my gosh, there's regrets. Like, one, I don't like the motherboard layout because the fan headers is like, you got one up there, well, you got two up there. One's for like a fan pump, another one's for a fan header. But then Asus goes and puts the other fan port back there, and I hate that location. I know it's for like rear mounted fans, but I kind of like how Gigabyte does it, where they put the extra fan down here. Because even if you have a rear mounted fan, it's easy to make a fan wire just go from down here into down there. But no, Asus doesn't do that. And so it's like, whenever I want to plug something in there to use that, I gotta drape a fan wire across my graphics card. Yeah. Yeah, I'm using an NVIDIA SSD. But yeah, it's not the best solution. I don't know. Mistakes were made, but I spent the money, so oh well. Alright, folks. Time to actually go ahead and swap out these parts. Okay, folks, so I managed to swap out the RAM, so that's the new RAM kit. I also took out the graphics card, as you can see. And I am one of those people who work with their computers facing down rather than vertically, like some weirdos like to do with vertical facing workplaces. By the way, I found a nice little trick for getting the graphics card out. If your RAM is skinny enough, you can use a RAM stick to press down on the PCIe release latch and get your graphics card out. So yeah, also, I'm just want to admire the fact that, like, even though I've been using this for since just before EVA just decided to say, fuck it, we're out of the GPU game, I'm also realizing this is way heavier than my 78, oh no, they're probably like the same weight. Either copper is heavy, but yeah, look at that. It's not that bad. It's not that dusty. You know, I did blow a bit of air in it. There's some dust you can see on it, but you couldn't really tell. I'm proud of myself for how clean I was able to keep this with regular PC cleanings. But anyway, time to put it back in its box, because I am one of those weirdos who keeps the GPU boxes. Do anybody else does that? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. Alright folks, so I just wanted to end up the video showing you the computer is up and running. So as you can see, my CPU temp is at 38 degrees C. GPU is at 38 degrees C as well, thanks to those new fans, which, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my fan for cooling. Do you guys hear that? Like, there's no noise coming from the computer whatsoever, even though you can see what the temps it's running at. Keep them nice and cool. But yeah, don't pay attention to that. For some reason, the CPU spikes up in temperature for I don't know what random reason. But yeah, also, if you're wondering what the RGB looks like, that's what the RGB looks like. Good, nice color. I know the case panel's a bit dirty, but I'd say it's all good. But yeah, listen to that. These Be Quiet fans are legit. Alright folks, I'm going to say thank you for watching. If you like this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe, and ring that bell for notification of whenever I be posting videos, I guess, or streaming. Whichever one happens. Other than that, bye, Internet.